Hello and welcome to my D&D campaign intro video. So this is a little bit of a deviation from the original plan. We are no longer doing a D&D world in Warhammer world. The original Eros was going to be located between Ulthuan and the Old World, but now it is just somewhere in the middle of the ocean in my fantasy universe. So until that is named, it will be unnamed. But for now, welcome, and if you're a new player, we will talk a little bit more outside of this video. This video is just to explain kind of the universe that you're going to be taking the quest on and introducing the quest to you as briefly as possible. So, without further ado, welcome to Eros. So, Eros is a magical island cluster that is concealed from the rest of the world by a strange magical veil, or force field that cloaks the island chain. Eros is made up of around 12 islands, and it's been removed from the rest of the world for centuries, and it's thought of mostly like Atlantis would be thought of on Earth. It's mostly a myth. Not a lot of things ever get through the field of magic, and the things that do hardly ever come back out. And if most of those things don't talk about it or want to share, or if they do, are not believed that Eros exists. So it's really untapped. It's a really rugged landscape, and the areas that do exist are pretty locked in and fortified and trying to keep out the magical powers of the outside landscapes. So what should you expect in Eros? Adventures, lots of them. There's a lot of magic, there's a lot of magical beings, and a lot of magical through lines and quests and things that could be done for these people. So your party will constantly be approached and constantly have things that they can be doing. Make sure you are asking about what you're doing, though, because there's two sides to every coin, and that is definitely true when it comes to magical questing. But that being said, no matter what side of the coin you land on, there will be loot and treasure for you. Eros is filled to the brim with it, and all magical items have drawbacks and benefits, but they also are everywhere in Eros because there's not a lot of adventures, and because there's not a lot of things claiming magical items, but there's a plethora of magic, there tends to be a lot of items. So don't forget to check the pockets and bags of your enemies. What else should you expect? Well, lots of beings will want to join you on this quest of yours, so feel free to accept whoever, feel free to accept whatever. There are going to be large groups of people, 2 small groups, 2 individuals that will want to join your quest. If you do accept a large group, make sure you know what you're doing with it and you keep them happy or they will wreak havoc. The other thing that could happen to you is death. You're probably going to die at some point if you're not careful. So I'm not going to try and kill you as the DM or anything, but Eros is going to be dangerous. There's a lot of monsters and a lot of magical beings that are greater than just small goblins or little orc packs or whatever. So death is not the end for your character, but just make sure that you're being careful and know that death is very much on the table in this world. You will have the option to start over, and this is a good point to bring up before we go in any further. There's 2 ways to enter into Eros. You'll either enter as a member of an existing party, meaning you'll join someone along the way, and that would be you are someone who already existed inside of this magical bubble, or you are going to be coming through in the scenario that I describe later, in the beginning scenario. So, how do you get started in D&D? Well, there's pretty much a 5-step process. First off is choosing your race and your class, and the second is choosing your ability score, your roles, your description, kind of making sure that all that checks out with what you chose in the first 2 steps of your race and your class. You want to make sure that your ability scores, like if you're a wizard, making sure you have high wisdom, So when you roll your 6d20, if you're trying to be a wizard, assign your highest d20 to your intelligence. And if you're going to struggle with this, or you're not so sure of what you want to do with that, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. The last thing though, 2 changes to how you would normally build your character. 1, you don't have to worry about starting equipment. You're starting with none. And 2, you do not start off at level 1. You start off at level 4. Eros is a very potent magical place, so you have to be an established adventurer to survive. So I'm putting you on the cusp of proficiency +3. So where do we begin? What is the beginning scenario? That is, you begin in Tenton Isle at the town of Barton. How did you get there? Upon boarding a ship across the oceans of the world, you and your party enter through the magical Veil of Eros by accident, destroying your ship completely. After washing ashore on the coast of Tenton Isle unconscious, you and your party are taken to the local inn and gaming hall by a mysterious stranger who is not identified by anybody in the town. From here, your journey begins. So, this is the beginning scenario. You can choose this, and, well, you have to choose this for the first quest, but if your character dies, you can either choose this and take another solo adventure through Eros, or you can choose to meet the party wherever you want to later down the line. So what are the maps that you need? This is Tenton Isle. You can go ahead and screenshot this. And the other one is Barton, which is the town that you start in. And you can see the Awoken Tree Inn and Gaming Parlor is where you'll wake up. There's a nice little fountain in the town square. Right around the library and the barracks were some areas that you can learn and gather some information or some more XP to get leveled up. Whatever you choose to do. Yeah, so this is it. This is the end of our presentation, and I hope you enjoyed. And I look forward to seeing you and playing D&D with you. Good luck!